Even though the Atari 2600 has been out for almost 40 years, there are surprisingly still people that are making homebrew games for the thing, despite the hardware limitations. So today I want to showcase some of these games. Starting off this video today, we have a good one called Zippy the Porcupine, which for those of you who hadn't guessed is a Sonic port for the Atari 2600. Now you may be asking yourself how they could bring our favorite hedgehog, or a porcupine, to such a primitive system without the blast processing of the Genesis. And the answer to that question is not very well. Okay, I'm being a little too harsh on the game, since a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog's elements are there, including loops and enemies. But this is simply not a game franchise that could have been started with 70s technology. Zippy the Porcupine is also surprisingly hard, especially in the later levels where a lot of stuff is being thrown at you. Combine this with the understandably awkward controls and you have quite the challenge. Sonic is not the only company mascot to be featured in a homebrew port on Atari though, but also Super Mario Bros., which is now called Princess Rescue. And you know what? It's actually not half bad. Just like Zippy, this game is able to recreate much of what made the original so memorable, with some of the stages being recreations of their NES counterparts. Princess Rescue is also able to recreate some Mario tunes, and even though they sound a bit distorted, they're still recognizable. Overall, this was pretty enjoyable. I gotta be honest here, I spent a decent amount of time trying to play this game called Duck Attack, yet I still have no remote clue of what I'm doing or what is even happening in the game. From what I've gathered, I play as this bug human guy that has to go around the stage finding items to pick up while a bee and duck are chasing after me. I don't know, nothing in this game makes any sense. This game sorta reminds me of Adventure, where I also just end up running around trying to pick up things hoping I won't get killed. In fact, I'm pretty sure this game is paying homage to those old adventure games, but it doesn't make it any more enjoyable for me. One game that never made it onto the Atari 2600, which I always felt was strange, was Tetris, since it's such a basic premise that could be put onto almost anything, although it is understandable since the classic puzzle game was created after the game crash. Because of this, Chattery tries to go back and fix this error, so that Tetris can be one step further to being on every single game platform. Other than the name change, this is simply Tetris. That's all that's needed to be said about it. If you for some reason want to play it on the Atari 2600, now's your chance. Halo 2600 is not only the best homebrew Atari game I've ever played, but also my favorite 2600 game in general. While most games for the system were either way too complicated for their own good like E.T., or very simple like Outlaw, the creators of Halo 2600 had a very good understanding of what the system was capable of, and how to use its limitations to their advantage. The game has you venturing around the stage as Master Chief, collecting weapon upgrades, fighting enemies, and finding keys to progress. While everything is simple, it's also very functional, with there actually being some strategy when getting into shootouts with foes. Another enjoyable aspect is that it's not too easy or hard, but rather just right with it never feeling rage-inducingly unfair like other games at the time. The main reason for this is that it gives you a few lives before having to restart, which really makes me want to keep on playing. So yes, I would highly recommend checking out Halo 2600, with you even being able to play it online without an emulator, so there's no excuse not to. Well, there you have some of my picks for my personal favorite homebrew Atari 2600 games. And if there's any others that I didn't mention in this video but you feel I should have, please feel free to leave a comment below. Also, if you haven't already, you can click here to subscribe to me or click here to follow me on Twitter. So anyway guys, until next time, thanks for watching.